Good morning, tail waggers. Welcome back to another Monday morning tail wag session. Today, we are looking at when weather stops the walk. Lightning, high winds, flooding, downed wires, and just unsafe routing conditions. Before we begin, a quick note for our Pet Sitters International members. This month's PSI toolkit includes access to the Tailwag quarterly bundles and a member discount on the supporting resources. Use your code for 25% off through July to grab an entire quarterly training bundle of the Tailwag briefings for your training records and documentation. And remember, that documentation is less than the cost of one dog walk free the month. Now, let's move on to today's tailwag briefing. Some weather conditions do not require a lengthy assessment. They are already a hard no-go. Lightning, dangerous winds, flooded roads, down utility lines, structural damage, tree or debris blocking access, and conditions where the neighborhood itself is no longer safe to enter. The decision becomes easier when the threshold has been established before the sitter is standing outside the client's home, looking at the clock, thinking about the pet waiting inside, and wondering whether the situation is really bad enough to stop. That is what a safety policy is for. Those decisions have already been made by the business owner, founders, or management team. That is not the moment when we want someone inventing the company's weather policy. Today, we are talking about the conditions that stop outdoor work, prevent entry to the property, or require a visit to be postponed, modified, reassigned, or altogether canceled. So let's begin with lightning. You do not have to see lightning for the hazard to exist. The National Weather Service guidance is simple. If you can hear thunder, lightning is close enough to strike you. When thunder roars, go indoors. That means no finishing the walk, no quick potty break, no waiting under a porch, tree, carport, or open garage. Those are not safe lightning shelters. Are your team trained to recognize that? A substantial enclosed building is the preferred shelter. If one is not available, an enclosed, hard-topped vehicle with the windows closed provides protection. Once inside, remain there for at least 30 minutes after the last sound of thunder, and lightning can strike away from the main storm and can remain a threat while the storm is approaching or moving out of the area. For pet sitters, this creates an operational decision. If the sitter is already safely inside the client's home, the outdoor walk may be replaced with indoor enrichment or delayed until conditions improve. If the sitter has not yet arrived, management may need to hold the visit, adjust the route, or determine whether safe entry is even going to be possible. And if the pet sitter or dog walker is outside with a dog when thunder is heard, the priority is to get to shelter and not necessarily completing the planned walking time. The second condition is dangerous wind. The phrase high winds can sound subjective, so the company, the management team, should identify what makes wind unsafe for field work. The threshold may include an active high wind or severe thunderstorm warning. It may be falling branches, airborne debris, damaged power lines, unstable trees, difficulty maintaining footing, or an inability to maintain safe control of the pet. A small dog can be struck by debris. A large or fearful dog may become difficult to control when trash cans, branches, signs, or other objects are moving unexpectedly. Trees and utility lines can also fail without the, with the strongest gusts have passed. The absence of rain does not make the route safe. Now consider flooding. Never drive through moving water when you cannot verify its depth or the condition of the surface underneath. Floodwater can contain damaged pavement, open drains, debris, contamination, electrical hazards, or a current strong enough to destabilize a person or even a vehicle these days. Standing water around a property also requires caution. Water may be in contact with electrical equipment that you may not see, damaged wiring, downed lines, or a compromised structure. The sitter does not need to determine whether the water is technically deep enough to be dangerous. The sitter just needs to recognize that the route or the property cannot be safely accessed and report the condition. The same principle applies to downed wires. Treat every downed line like it is energized. Do not approach it. Do not drive over it. Do not step into nearby water. And do not attempt to move a branch or object that is touching it. And do not assume that a line is harmless because it appears to be a cable or a communications line. Field staff are not expected to identify utility infrastructure from inside their vehicle or from the end of a driveway. You want to create distance, leave the area safely, notify emergency services or the utility company when appropriate, and contact management. So here's your scenario for today. You arrive after a storm and you see water covering part of the driveway. A line is down near the property. The pet is inside and the visit is scheduled. The right decision is not to park farther away and walk around it. The right decision is not to contact the client and ask whether they think the line is electrical. The right decision is to remain clear of the area, leave safely, contact management, and document what you have observed. The task is not to outrank electrocution, flooding, or structural risk. That does not mean that the pet is forgotten. It means the company moves into its own emergency protocols. Management may contact the client, local emergency personnel, a nearby emergency contact, or another authorized person who can access the pet's immediate needs without sending the pet sitter, your employee, into a known hazard. Stop work is not abandonment. It is the point where normal service ends and emergency planning begins. This is also why your field staff need reliable weather tools. A weather app is not just something we check to decide whether we carry an umbrella that day. It should be part of your route planning. One free option is the official FEMA app, and it provides real-time weather and emergency alerts and allows users to monitor multiple locations that can be particularly useful for a pet sitting company, serving several communities where conditions may differ across the service area. There is the National Weather Service, does not currently operate its own official mobile app, but weather.gov provides you with the forecasts, active warnings, radar, and local hazard information. And a sitter can save the local weather.gov page as a shortcut on the phone's home screen. Field staff should also verify that wireless emergency alerts are enabled on their phones. These government-issued alerts can provide warnings for life-threatening conditions without requiring the worker to download or subscribe to an app. No single app should be the entire weather plan. Phones lose power, data service fails, alerts can be delayed. A worker may cross from one warning area into another during the route. Use more than one source when severe weather is expected. Check that forecast before leaving, monitor the alerts during the shift, and remain attentive to field conditions. The sky, roads, trees, standing water, emergency vehicles, blocked streets, and neighborhood damage can also provide localized information. And remember, a forecast tells you what may happen across an area. The sitter is maybe the first person in the company to see what has actually happened in a particular property. That observation needs to reach management quickly. When reporting a weather disruption, document the address or route location, the time, the conditions observed, and any alerts received, whether the property could be approached safely, and whether the pet was indeed accessed, and what actions were taken. Photographs may be useful when they can be taken from a safe location. Do not move towards the hazard to get a better picture. Management does not need a dramatic photograph. Management needs enough information to make the next operational decision. Before we finish, consider these 3 questions. What conditions on your current route would cause you to stop before entering the property? Which clients have indoor enrichment or toileting alternatives that can replace an unsafe walk? And what information does your company expect you to provide when weather blocks a route or prevents access? The key takeaway is this: weather decisions must prioritize human and animal safety above task completion. The conditions are stop work conditions before your visit begins. Before your next shift, review that route, identify one location that could become unsafe during bad weather. Then check your phone. Make sure those emergency alerts are enabled, and make sure you know where to find reliable local weather information before you need it. That's this morning's tailwag briefing. Kind of a lot in there, I know. But when it comes to weather, and me being a sky-worn storm spotter for the National Weather Service for many years, it is a fascination of mine. So, with that said, have a safe and productive week.